Two guys in their mid-20s are sitting at a bar having a beer. One of the guys remarks to the other, "Boy, you look tired." His friend replies, "Dude, I'm exhausted. My girlfriend wants to make love all the time. 3, 4, sometimes even 6 times a night. She wakes me up at all hours. I don't know what to do." An old gentleman in his 70s, sitting a few bar stools down, overhears their conversation. He looked over at the two men and, showing the wisdom of his age, said, "Just marry her. That will put an end to that nonsense." The lady of the house sat in the study with tears streaming down her cheeks. Upon entering the room, her maid knelt by her side and tried to comfort her. "Oh, Marie," the woman said to her maid, "I have reason to suspect that my husband is having an affair with his secretary." "I don't believe it for 1 minute," snapped the maid. "You are just saying that to make me jealous." A fundamentalist Baptist minister gave in to temptation and propositioned the choir director, after practice one night, when no one else was left in the church. Also giving in to her temptation, the choir director eagerly asked, "Where should we do it?" The reverend said, "Right here on the floor." "But the bare floor is so cold," she lamented. "How about standing up?" "Good Lord, girl. Have you taken leave of your senses?" shouted the minister. "What if someone happened to come in? They'd think we were dancing." A wife asked her husband, "Could you please go shopping for me and buy a pint of milk? And if they have avocados, get 6. A short time later, the husband comes back with 6 pints of milk. The wife asks him, "Why did you buy 6 pints of milk?" He replied, "They had avocados." Jose and Carlos are beggars. They beg in different areas of town. Carlos begs for the same amount of time as Jose, but collects only about $8 or $9 a day. Jose brings home a suitcase full of $10 bills every day. He drives a Mercedes, lives in a mortgage-free house, and has a lot of money to spend. "Hey, amigo," Carlos says to Jose, "I work just as long and hard as you do. So how come you bring home a suitcase full of $10 bills every day?" Jose says, "Look at your sign. What does it say?" Carlos's sign reads, "I have no work, a wife and 6 kids to support." "What's wrong with that?" asks Carlos. Jose says, "No wonder you only get $8 a day." Carlos says, "All right, what is on your sign?" Jose shows him. It reads, "I only need $10 more to get back to Mexico." An elderly gentleman had serious hearing problems for a number of years. He went to the doctor, and the doctor was able to have him fitted for a set of hearing aids that allowed the gentleman to hear 100%. The elderly gentleman went back in a month to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Your hearing is perfect. Your family must be really pleased that you can hear again." The gentleman replied, "Oh, I haven't told my family yet. I just sit around and listen to their conversations. I've changed my will 3 times. It was with much dismay that Rachel discovered her husband Rupert had a mistress. Rachel, however, was not the sort to kill the golden goose. Rather, she decided to find out what the mistress had that she didn't. After a long interrogation, Rupert finally relented. "Well, to tell you the truth, Rachel, you are too cold. When we make love, you don't do anything. You just lay there, whereas she moans and groans with feeling." "Is that all?" thought Rachel. "Is that all there is to it?" That night, she dressed in her most alluring lingerie, slipped Rupert a shot of his favorite cognac, and got him into bed. Halfway through the business, she decided to give him her most passionate moans and groans. "Oh, Rupert, darling," she began, "I've had the most terrible day. Our shares dropped 2 points. The nanny quit, and you don't give me enough housekeeping money." Little Johnny gets caught playing doctor with the neighbor girl. Johnny's dad doesn't approve, thinking Johnny is on track to knock up a young teen in a few years. "Johnny, you know that girls have teeth down there," he started. "What? Are you lying?" "Nope, you need to keep clear of that business, son." Years later in high school, Johnny starts dating a girl, but after some time, she starts wondering why Johnny hasn't tried to take things to the next level. "Johnny, are you attracted to me? We've been together for months and you haven't tried sleeping with me yet. Is something wrong?" Johnny replies, "When I was younger, my dad told me that girls have teeth, down there." "That's silly," she says. "Let me show you." So she starts to strip from the waist down, lies back and spreads her legs. "See? No teeth?" Johnny, looking horrified, says, "Well, no wonder. Look at the state of your gums." After being married for 40 years, I took a careful look at my wife one day and said, 40 years ago we had a cheap house, a junk car, slept on a sofa bed, and watched a 10-inch black and white TV. But I got to sleep every night with a hot 23-year-old girl. Now, I have a $500,000 home, a $35,000 car, and a nice big bed and a large screen TV, but I'm sleeping with a 63-year-old woman. It seems to me that you're not holding up your side of things. My wife is a very reasonable woman. She told me to go out and find a hot 23-year-old girl, and she would make sure that I would once again be living in a cheap house, driving a junk car, sleeping on a sofa bed, and watching a 10-inch black and white TV. Two men were digging a ditch on a very hot day. One said to the other, "Why are we down in this hole digging a ditch when our boss is standing up there in the shade of a tree?" "I don't know," responded the other. "I'll go ask him." The man climbed out of the hole and went to his boss. "Why are we digging in the hot sun and you're standing in the shade?" "Intelligence," the boss said. "What do you mean, intelligence?" The boss said, "Well, I'll show you. I'll put my hand on this tree, and I want you to hit it with your fist as hard as you can." The ditch digger took a mighty swing and tried to hit the boss's hand. The boss removed his hand and the ditch digger hit the tree. The boss said, "That's intelligence." The ditch digger went back to his hole. His friend asked, "What did he say?" "He said, 'We are down here because of intelligence.'" "What's intelligence?" asked the friend. The ditch digger put his hand in front of his face and said, "Take your shovel and hit my hand." Norman and his blonde wife live in Calgary. One winter morning while listening to the radio, they hear the announcer say, "We are going to have 8 to 10 centimeters of snow today. You must park your car on the even-numbered side of the street so the snowplow can get through." Norman's wife goes out and moves her car. A week later, while they are eating breakfast, the radio announcer says, "We are expecting 10 to 12 centimeters of snow today. You must park your car on the odd-numbered side of the street so the snowplow can get through." Norman's wife goes out and moves her car again. The next week, they are having breakfast again, when the radio announcer says, "We are expecting 12 to 14 centimeters of snow today. You must park." Then the electric power goes out. Norman's wife is very upset, and with a worried look on her face, she says, "Honey, I don't know what to do. Which side of the street do I need to park on so the snowplow can get through?" With the love and understanding, Norman says, "Why don't you just leave it in the garage this time?" A guy took his blonde girlfriend to her first football game. They had great seats right behind their team's bench. After the game, he asked her how she liked the experience. "Oh, I really liked it," she replied, "especially the tight pants and all the big muscles, but I just couldn't understand why they were killing each other over 25 cents. Dumbfounded, her date asked, "What do you mean?" "Well, they flipped a coin. One team got it, and then for the rest of the game, all they kept screaming was, 'Get the quarterback! Get the quarterback!' I'm like, hello? It's only 25 cents! A rich man comes home and immediately starts shouting at his wife. "I've been looking at our expenses, and they are through the roof. What have you got so much to spend on? From now on, things will need to be different." "Different how?" the wife asked. "Well, for starters, if you learned how to cook, we wouldn't need a personal chef. If you learned to clean, we wouldn't need a maid." The wife looks at him and responds, "Then we just need to teach you how to satisfy a woman. Then we can let the gardener go as well."